Hey folks, welcome to day one of practice for the Forrest Wood Cup. I've got Clark Reehm with me. He's been out on the water all day. And Clark, you said you kind of had a so-so day. If you had to rate it 1 to 10, 10 being you found giant schools, they're hogs, and you got them all to yourself, 1 being not good at all, what do you think?
It's all in perspective. You know, catch-wise, it was about a 1.
Okay.
But I've been looking a lot at offshore stuff, and when it comes to practicing for offshore stuff, sometimes it's more about just idling and seeing the fish down there. And the whole deal here is that you can see fish on a lot of these brush piles and things.
Yeah.
But the trick is figuring out the rotation of baits to get them to bite. Because
Okay.
you know, your standard fare of throwing a big plum worm out there isn't just going to catch them every time, and it's frustrating because you can, like I said, you can actually see the fish down there, and so it's a matter of just trying to rotate through different baits, trying to see what the optimal bait's going to be. So from a pre-fishing standpoint, it was probably about a 5, but from a catch rate, it was probably about a 1.
All right, so for your pre-fish, then you're almost trying to catch fish, whereas a lot of times guys are more looking for fish in practice. You're trying to figure out exactly how to catch them.
Yeah, you know, I came here for about 2 weeks in the pre-practice. My parents live not far from here, so my son got to go to grandma's house for a couple days, and came down, did a whole lot of idling, looking for brush piles. I mean, it's no secret that that is going to be a major player in this deal. You know, it's been written about on numerous websites that that's going to be one of the big players, and you know, so you do a lot of idling. You know, when you come out and scout, there's a big difference in scouting and pre-fishing. You know, now I'm trying to go basically to extract the fish as opposed to going and looking for the fish. As opposed to guys that are looking at, for the grass bite, they're actually having to fish along trying to figure out where those fish might be at. And then you got guys that are looking for the brim bed bite that are just going up and they don't even need to fish. They're visibly looking for a brim bed or looking for a wolf pack of schools cruising. Yep. You know, you can't really do that in the pre-practice. But you can come up here and spend your time and just idling around, side scanning, you're able to find hundreds of brush piles. These locals have this lake inundated with brush piles. Every point's got piles on it. You can look on any break line and just idle every hump. You're gonna find piles. And I mean, I've literally got 200 or so. And I know other guys that have just as many. And I mean, you see them all out there. And you know, it's a gamble, but I mean, it's a calculated risk, you know, for success.
All right. When you came here in pre-practice, or even now, is there a particular section of the lake that you feel is best for the brush pile bite, or can that be something that you do throughout the lake?
Well, I actually guide down at Sam Rayburn in Toledo Bend, and we have a lot of grass where we're at.
Yeah.
And one thing I've learned when you have a grass lake is when you have piles near grass, it splits those fish up.
Okay.
You know, when you're trying to fish piles, you almost don't want piles that are around other piles either. The isolated stuff is going to be better because, again, we're extracting the fish that are being drawn to the high percentage spot. You know, on this lake, you've actually got a dividing line, which is Crystal Springs, which is the boat ramp we're actually at right now. And it's almost a canal, and you can cut the lake in half right there. Because if you go to the east, you got grass. And if you go to the west, there's no grass, but you got more of a river system going off that way. But I really didn't spend any time to the east because that's where the grass is at. I know that the pile bite's probably not going to be nearly as good because the grass is going to split a lot of those fish up.
All right, now you said you sort of want to focus on the pile bite, fish offshore, fish a little deeper. What's your plan for the next 2 days of practice?
Keep looking deep. You know, I don't really have the history on the lake to know that this pile is good or that one's good. And most of these guys don't. You know, you got a guy like Stetson Blaylock that's been here his whole life.
He's got some history on the lake.
Yeah, you know, he knows which piles might be better than others. Larry Nixon's been around a while. And again, a lot of these guys have been here numerous times. This is not a new hat for these guys. They've been here twice. They know where a lot of brush piles are. They get rebrushed. The topwater bite's no secret for the brim bed deal. And so I'm going to spend the rest of my time looking deep because I can always throw that audible to go shallow at any time. Because it's a whole lot easier to go up shallow and go put the trolling motor on high and go throw a topwater plug, getting random fish, than it is to go out deep and figure out which brush piles are going to be the key ones to put in a milk run to have success.
Awesome. Well, you told me you fished your first tournament here ever when you were about 12. Now you're fishing the Forrest Wood Cup for $500,000. I tell you what, Clark, best of luck the next 2 days and, of course, once it starts.
All right, thank you.